Dang, I wish I could have watched you and Islam grapple.
For sure.
What would you guys say was like the most like impossible thing to deal with those guys?
For me, the hardest part about training with a high-level MMA fighter is that we're playing two different games. I'll end up playing guard with someone, and then they just make 0 attempts to pass it all, and they just try to stay in the top position. In their mind, they won the match, and in my mind, I won the match.
Every time I knew that these dudes were in the gym, I just better be ready for a rumble. Whatever we're doing, if it's sparring or grappling or wrestling, it's gonna be hard. And especially when Khabib was around. They trained hard when Khabib wasn't around, but they trained harder when Khabib was around.
Like if DC walked in, would he get the same kind of response?
Oh yeah, for sure, bro. If you want to talk about a dude who can walk into any room he goes into and control it, that's DC. And the easiest room for him to control is a training room. Back with another episode of the DMs, the Deron and Mason Show, with our boy Andrew Zaragoza. And we're here back for another week, ready to talk about all things mixed martial arts, combat sports, jiu-jitsu, grappling, wrestling. We might throw in maybe a little bit of Donald Trump, Joe Biden action, and talk about whatever is really on our minds. So thanks for joining us, guys.
And we might change the show to the Dams if Andrew if Andrew shows his worth, you know.
I wouldn't have it any other way, you know what I mean? I want to like earn my keep and you know earn my stripes and that sort of thing. So yeah,
he's got to get his purple belt, and then we'll change it to the Dams.
Or are you a blue belt, Andrew?
Yeah, dude. So basically,
I'm a blue belt too, bro. I know we talked about it before, but I'll fuck you up.
Yeah, well, I mean, since I'm a blue belt now, basically I'm untouchable. I wake up and I piss excellence. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, nobody can fuck with me, bro. I'm a blue belt.
Hey, he's the typical guy. As soon as he got his blue belt, he changed his whole podcast background to blue and shit.
Nah. Dude, no, somebody already gave me shit for that. I was like, look, my car is blue, my lights have always been blue, my like background of my like profile picture is blue. It's just, I don't know, do you have to like dress for the job you want, not the job you own?
Deron, I think you're a green belt, bro.
Bro, I roll with some guys at this gym down here and at the OCRTC. And they're like, yeah, man, you got good. What are you? I'm like, I'm just a blue belt, bro. I was just talking to some people about it the other day. And I was like, do you think they'd still let me compete in blue belt worlds?
Oh, yeah, you could for sure.
Because I've never competed jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, you can compete at blue belt worlds. They only care about people getting promoted too fast. They don't really care about sandbagging. The only thing that they would really care about is if, like, this has happened before, that someone's gotten promoted to like purple belt or whatever. And then maybe they took some time off or they switched gyms or they moved to a different part of the world. And all of a sudden this dude will pop up and compete in a tournament at blue belt. Guys will actually, yes. And I don't know how they justify it in their heads. Like, oh, I got promoted to purple belt, but that was a long time ago and I haven't been training. So, I'm just going to jump in this competition as a blue belt. No big deal.
That's not okay.
Not okay. Yeah. So a few cases like that have been caught where someone was actually competing after they had gotten promoted, which is insane. But besides that, they've never been like, oh, you've been a blue belt for 5 years. You've been a blue belt for 10 years. You're in trouble. You can't compete at blue belt anymore. Never happened. They don't care.
Okay. Yeah, the only thing that I've seen is like, I've been competing in Jiu-Jitsu World League, and I think like down in the fine print, it'll say something like, you can't have any like previous like college wrestling experience or something like that
to compete at white belt.
Okay, that's what it is. All right.
Yeah. So if you have college wrestling experience, MMA experience, or if you're a black belt in judo, then you have to at least compete at blue belt. You can't compete at white belt. That would be fucked up.
Yeah, that's the one thing that's like gets ignored for sure. But like I didn't know it was just for white belt, so that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess I would just have to compete to really see if it made a factor or anything. But I keep
saying the Nogi Worlds. The Nogi Worlds.
That's what everyone says.
Wait an episode.
I was supposed to do ADCC trials too, but
yeah, we see how that went. And then, hey, Deron has the nerve to text me and be like, "Hey, bro,
Bro, get me on CJI, bro.
I'm like, you didn't do the trials. I was telling you to do the trials.
Dudes, bro. I beat Pat Downey. I beat half these dudes. I could beat half these dudes, bro.
I know one guy that you can't beat.
Yeah, all right.
You better cut to -80, bro. That's all I
No, what is it? 99 plus?
No, there's only in CJI. There's only 2 divisions.
80 and 90.
Over 80 kilograms, under 80 kilograms.
Oh yeah, I'm going over 80 kilograms.
Good luck,
dude. So you said you had some inside info without spilling too much info. Craig Jones said that he had funding for 2025 secured. Do you know if he's just trolling or if that's legit?
No, it's legit. Just kind of like what I was saying is that the money's not the problem. Like most people are saying, like, oh, people call him like Craig Sugar Daddy or whatever, the guy that's funding the tournament. People are saying, oh, this guy's going to lose money and then CGI is not going to happen anymore. But the guy is not, he's not planning on getting the money back. He's giving the money in order to run the tournament. So, yeah, if Craig posted that the 2025 funding has been secured, he's already got it.
I mean, honestly, the way that he's marketing it right now, I wouldn't be surprised if in the future he gets other investors, private investors to invest. That'll make it more manageable. You know what I'm saying? So if obviously if you have 5 private investors ready to put the money forth as opposed to 1, obviously makes it more likely that it'll happen. And I mean, the way he's marketing, it's genius, bro.
But the difference?
I've yet to seen much in, besides MMA, like combat sports, like grappling, that is marketed the way he's marketing it.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Incredible.
Incredible.
It's incredible.
But the difference I would say between like if you had 5 private investors, those guys, like a private investor is going to want a return on their investment.
Yeah, for sure.
The guy's he's not an investor. He's just giving Craig the money. And then he's here, I don't want it back.
Yeah.
So the guy in his budget, I think this guy in his budget has $3 million a year that he's going to give to Craig. And if anything, it's a write-off because it's a nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
So he just needs the write-off. He needs to get down to that lower tax bracket or whatever, and he's just going to give $3 million per year. Every year, he's just going to be okay with losing $3 million a year. That's what I think. I don't have 100% guaranteed info, but that's just what I think from what I know.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I'm saying is, okay, I understand what you're saying, but if there's 5 guys who don't care about losing, $250,000 a year, that
yeah,
manageable than
for
one
sure.
guy putting $3 million forth every year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Obviously, that's not the math, but you guys get what I'm saying.
The math ain't mathing, but I get
more like 500,000 a piece, a little bit more than 500,000 a piece if it's $3 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's marketing incredible. I mean, I'm sure he's gonna get some sponsors. You know what I'm saying? And like views. I don't know. I mean, the same day as ADCCs is gonna screw with the views, but
if anything, more people are gonna watch the CGI because it's free on YouTube.
Yeah.
I know people already that are telling me, man, I canceled my Flow Grappling. I couldn't wait to cancel my Flow Grappling. The only reason I haven't canceled is because I want to watch ADCC. And then now they're like, fuck it, I'm just going to cancel.
Damn.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's just the same complaints about Flow Grappling that people have had for the longest time. Like, you have to pay for like a year up front. It's like $250.
Which is crazy, bro.
Yeah, you have to like pay for a year up front. They'll change it like 2 months before ADCC, they'll make it where you have to buy a year up front. But then like if you buy it on one of the other months out of the year, then you can buy it like a month at a time.
Well,
but then
I mean, maybe they do that for Flow Grappling, but in wrestling, you have to buy it a year up front no matter what.
Oh yeah, maybe it's the same thing. And like, is there like a constant theme in the wrestling community of like, man, we hate Flow Wrestling. They do this.
Oh
they
yeah,
do that.
bro. You should have seen whenever they first started getting big. Well, the thing is, like for me personally, I have a good relationship with these dudes because as they were coming up and getting bigger, I was one of like the premier senior level guys. So like I did a lot of like the pro matches and I had a relationship with these dudes. And they actually, and this was us like speaking out on Twitter. And I know I'm not the only one, but they've given me a free account for the last like 8 years probably. So me personally, I can't, talk too much about them because they take care of me. But I was also an athlete that was essentially making them money with people trying to watch, you know?
Yeah.
There was a big thing in like 2015 whenever Flow started really becoming big. They would come to like the pro matches that we would do. Obviously the US Open, the Dave Schultz, the NYC. And then there came a point where like, okay, you guys are making all this money off watching us. Where's our money at? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they had good, I guess they had good, you know, they had good argument about why we don't need to get paid. Basically, they're like, the NFL, those guys don't get paid per view. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how they worded it, but obviously they had somebody behind the scenes making it make sense. But yeah, they got a lot of shit until really, like I said, it's like, you just have to succumb to it because they're covering everything and they're everywhere. They're everywhere you're going to watch.
There's no competition.
There's no competition.
So it's not like you could say like, I'm not going to do this match on Flow Wrestling. I'm not going to take this match on Who's Number One. Instead, I'm going to do this match that's on the same weekend on UFC Fight Pass.
Yeah, no, it's not. You can't do
But there wasn't. But now that's what we have. That's what we have in jiu-jitsu now, finally. Because it was like that in jiu-jitsu for a long time. For sure. But Perfect. Now there's Polaris, there's a UFC Fight Pass Invitational, there's Karate Combat, and all of these other organizations that have started are paying very competitively. And so now it's like, I mean, obviously we can't get paid per view, kind of like what you were mentioning before, but they can pay us a certain amount, right? Like X amount of dollars. So now if it's like let's say you believe you're worth 10 grand and Flow Grappling's like, nah, it's too much. We're not making that much. You don't know if they're making that much or not because we don't see the numbers, right? Yeah. But then if all of a sudden Karate Combat comes out of nowhere and is like, hey, yeah, we'll pay you 10 grand. We're making that much. And then Flow Grappling has to be like, fuck, now they're getting paid. They have to pay us 15 grand. Yeah. And then sure. UFC Fight Pass is like, oh, no, we want you on our event. We'll pay you 20 grand. And it just like keeps going up. So the competition is so good. But I see that all the time. Anytime anyone posts anything about Flow Grappling, like there's a lot of complaints about.
So many. And then don't let the stream go out for 30 seconds.
Oh yeah, people complain.
Everybody is online on their heads, bro. On I guess it's X now. On X, bro. On their heads, bro.
Yeah, the quality of the stream or whatever. But the thing that people hate the most is there's ads, bro.
Yes.
But you pay $25 a month, and then they give you like 60-second ads in the streams.
Yeah.
But it's a paid service.
Yeah, I don't know what you would put in between time, in between matches and whatnot. Notice I was like, because I got the year subscription also.
Yeah,
and I was, and then all of a sudden it's like, why I'm getting like the weirdest random ads for stuff that is like so irrelevant to me.
I know,
but I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna watch this.
They're just taking ads, bro. Any chance they get, it doesn't matter what it is. They're like, yo, you're gonna pay us? Yes, because at the end of the day, like wrestling and grappling aren't like really huge in the world. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's not like a bunch of like, it's like you think about mainstream, sponsors or whatever, right? Like you talk about like a Geico or something like that, right? They're not going to buy an ad for wrestling because it just does not make sense. There's no way they're going to make that money off viewership of grappling and wrestling,
Yeah. So another thing,
they say they pay X amount of dollars to Flow Wrestling for the ad. There's no way that Flow Wrestling is sending that many people to Geico to buy insurance.
Yeah. Another thing that that Craig Jones is doing, all the numbers are going to be shown like live. So that way you'll be able to have some type of bargaining power. Like, let's say that after this event, someone hits you up to go and do a super fight. You can show like all the people that were watching your matches as opposed to like other people's matches. Yeah. So it's going to show exactly how many people were watching when you were competing. Mm-hmm. And then how many people were watching like each mat at each time.
And then also, is that going to eventually kind of equate to more money for each individual?
I don't think in the CGI. I think in the CGI, everyone's going to get paid equally because from what I know, every athlete is getting paid equally. And like a lot of people, even when I when they found out that I accepted the invite to do the CGI, they were asking me, did you get more money? Because Craig's saying that he's going to pay everyone $10,001, right? Like $10,000. And they're like, oh, well, you're a bigger name than some of the other guys, so you should ask for more show money. So like you should ask for 20K, 30K, whatever.
Yeah, but don't mess it up, bro. Don't mess it up.
No, no. So I just accepted it. And then Craig even told me, he's like, damn, you're one of the only people that didn't ask for more show money. And just to keep things transparent, no one's getting paid more than 10,000, you know?
Sick.
So I think even like the Rotolos,
That's the
who
way
are like
it's gotta
a huge
be,
name,
bro.
for sure. I think the Rotolos, who are like a huge, they're a bigger name than me in jiu-jitsu for sure. And like Cade's an ADCC champ. I think they're just getting the 10K as well. So like, I think everyone's getting just 10K.
Yeah, but they're like, and you know them, like, dude, they're like, yeah, I'll take the 10 grand, bro. Fucking legend, bro. Legend. Tough legend. Yeah. I remember one time when I was training with Cade, he was like, hey, you want to get some grinds after this? And I'm like, grinds? He's like, yeah, some grinds. And he was doing like this. And I was like, I don't skateboard. Like, I don't longboard, whatever. He's like, no, like some food. I was like, bro, that's some real, like, California, some grind, or Hawaii. Get some grinds, bro.
What does food have to do with grinds?
I have no idea, bro. Sometimes it's better not to ask questions, you know?
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to get a hold of Cade Rotolo?
Yeah, a few times. Left me hanging, dog. I'm not talking about hanging loose. I'm talking about that boy left me hanging.
Hey, you know what? He explained to me one time that, like, so his phone will just die. Like, you think that if a guy of like that importance would never let his phone die, his phone will die, and he'd be like, I'm so glad my phone's dead.
I know.
Crazy, bro. Because he's like, you know, he's like, because, you know, so many people are, and I know to an extent of how it is about a bunch of people contacting you in a day, you know? And his justify of not responding was like, but then you're going to respond, and then I have to respond again. I'm like, you're crazy. That's called a conversation, Gabe.
No, the worst is if like one time they kind of told me something, they canceled something kind of last minute on me. And the worst one was like, Cade was like, bro, I thought Ty told you. And then Ty's like, bro, I thought Cade told you. I'm like, God, you guys are the worst.
Oh, bro. I mean, when Cade was getting ready for his fight, this last fight, he was trying to get a hold of me. And, bro, he would FaceTime me. And 5 minutes later, I'd FaceTime him back to back. 3 times. FaceTime him again in 2 hours. FaceTime him again later in the night, or text him later in the night.
He's gone, bro. He's gone.
Bro, and then like 3 days later, FaceTimes me again. Bro, legend. I've been trying to get a hold of you, bro. I'm like, you're fucking crazy, bro.
I'm gonna come train with you guys for the CGI for sure. And I'm super happy that they're both doing the -80, because first off, that means they're not in my division, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because they're animals, bro. And then the second thing is, it's crazy that they're both doing the same division, because I thought that they were going to do one go over and one go under.
Yeah.
But I think that Craig's going to allow them to be on opposite sides of the bracket.
Yeah, for sure.
And the thing is, they will like actually scrap in the finals too if they make it.
Mm-hmm.
Most tournaments won't let you be on opposite sides of the bracket because they don't want you to like close out or do like a fake fight or something like that. But like Cade and Ty have already done that before, and they actually like fight.
Really?
They don't give a fuck. Yeah.
So I've seen a lot of situations like that in wrestling. Twins that were at the same weight and like make it to the a national finals together. And generally it's either like one. I actually cooked the Cortez twins.
Yeah.
They used to go, and then it was like they'd make it to the finals, and then it was like one would win this time, and the next one would win that time. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of fair.
Take
and
turns.
I've seen like kids in the past like that too. It was like, okay, Eric, Brian Graham, like, all right, Eric, so you're gonna get your hand raised. Next time, Brian, you get your hand raised. You know what I'm saying? Back and forth.
Yeah, they close out.
When you get older, you have to switch weights, huh?
It's a closeout.
Yeah, just close out. And then like, I had some of my favorite coaches, the guys who mean the most to me in this planet, Trent and Travis Paulson. They coach in Virginia now, but they were my coaches when I trained at Iowa State. And these dudes would like meet in the U.S. Open finals. So it's kind of like the same thing, you know what I mean? It's like meeting in the CJI finals, like the biggest tournament finals. And then they have to wrestle. Because like when you're a grown man, it's not like you can flip a coin. They're like, let's figure it out.
Yeah.
But that's like such a crazy relationship, bro. Like having a brother who's just as talented as you and you have to train with him all the time every day. Like that's crazy, bro.
I wish I had that.
Oh yeah, for sure. But also, you know how much conflict that brings you, bro? Like you're just conflicting with your brother every day.
You'd be good though.
Oh yeah.
You'd be good.
I mean, that's how
every
like
day would be a
Travis,
fight.
bro. These dudes were, I remember like when I first got to Iowa State, they changed houses. So like they had lived with each other for 27 years, you know? And then Travis had moved out. And I remember them talking to me and was like, yeah, bro, we just got like basically to where like they were like a married couple and they just like couldn't deal with each other anymore for a while. You know, they're like, we have got to separate. Otherwise we're going to go crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
So
Yeah.
with like with the Rotolos and then now Mikey Musumeci going over to the CJI, where does this leave ADCC? Because it seems like, I mean, what I read online is it's like CJI is everybody else and ADCC is like new wave now. It's kind of what it's looking like almost. Where do you think this leaves ADCC?
Yeah, I mean, ADCC still has they have a few guys. They have Kainan still, and they have Mika still. The rumor is that like a few of the big names are getting like under the table money to not switch over. But yeah, I don't know. I think that, I mean, they still have Gordon, who's the biggest name in the sport, right? I think that ADCC on the first day is going to be kind of dead. But then I think on the second day, it's going to be like everyone's still going to go. Everyone already has their tickets, their hotels, their flights. Why would they not go to CJI on like Friday, Saturday, and then still go to ADCC on Sunday? So I think ADCC is going to be fine. But next year, they're going to have to do, well, next year there is no ADCC. So in 2026, ADCC is going to have to make some changes for sure. Because Craig's going to have another tournament in 2025. And then they're going to have another one in 2026. So ADCC's got to have something big planned to keep guys, on their side. Or, I mean, they got to have two separate dates, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how ADCC is going to be able to do that. I don't know if Craig's going to target their dates again and wait until they have everything planned and then book it on the same day like he did this time, or if in 2 years they're going to be big enough and established enough where they can do it separately from ADCC.
You don't think that like athletes will just kind of sit around, wait, and then end up doing both?
Yeah, if it's on a different weekend, even if it's on a different day, if it's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, people will do both.
Damn.
So the only way that it really works is if Craig targets their day and does the same weekend again, which is crazy.
It'll be interesting to see who commits first on which like weekend they're going to do it on, right? Because it'll just be kind of like a chess match. Like, are you going to do this week to like book venues and that sort of thing? It's probably going to be a little weird. Yeah,
they're going to be going back and forth. Like, like Mo's going to book one weekend, Craig's going to book the same weekend, and then Mo's going to change it to a different weekend.
So, what are your guys's, I guess, ideas, your point of view of Power Slap?
Man, I was in the party of like thinking that it's so dumb and it shouldn't be like, oh my God, why is Dana White doing this? And, they shouldn't be investing in this shit and blah, 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 blah. I was in that party.
Yeah.
Until I started watching this shit.
Yeah.
Now I'm the biggest Power Slap fan, bro.
Really?
I can watch it all day. I love it. I know all their names and shit. Wolverine and I know all the champs.
Really?
Oh my God.
I've seen a couple of them. Like, so I was the same way. I was like, this is crazy. But I will say this. I'm a believer in listening to successful, like influential people. Like if they have an idea of something, they probably are on to something, you know? So you got to think that what Dana did with the UFC, because like the story is crazy. Like if you really know the story of how the UFC made it, it's crazy.
And it started the same way. Everyone was telling him this isn't a sport. This is barbaric. Nothing's going to come of this. And everyone's telling him the same things to Power Slap.
Yeah. And then like he would show, I remember watching an interview of him, like just a clip. It's not like I'm watching an interview, but like of him showing somebody the views compared to like, you know, other pro sports. And it's crazy.
No, it's bigger than anything else in the world. It gets more views than the NFL, the NBA,
it's crazy.
Every other sport. Yeah, so like, it gets more views than the fucking
Jackie
NFL.
Cataline, she slapped two. How do you say it? She fought 2 nights ago.
No, slap fight, bro. Slap fight.
She slap fought 2 nights ago. And like the first one, she went viral, but she got in trouble for like pushing or
clubbing, bro.
Clubbing. Yeah,
I know all this shit.
She knocked that big girl out. And then she actually told me, like, she still got paid. Like, even though she got, like, disqualified, like, they still threw her some money, you know?
How much, man, can you disclose how much, just an estimate?
Dude,
what
honestly,
did they get paid?
I forget how much she said.
1 and 1, like 1,000 to show and 1,000 to win?
No, I think it's like 5,000.
Oh, that's not bad, bro.
Yeah, no, it's not bad at all.
5,000 to show and 5,000 to win?
I think so.
I don't think so, bro. I could be wrong.
I'm serious,
What is she on the main card? Is she on the main card?
Bro, yeah, she went viral. She just did, and then she just did it again. And then listen, I was talking to somebody about it, and I was literally on the phone, and I was looking at the views. The night before the slap thing, they reposted her slap knockout or whatever. It already had like 15 million views in one day.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy, bro.
She's found her niche. Jackie's a girl who's like wrestled for a long time. She was in the mix, like made a national team in the US Open, like fought a little bit, has had like a decent career. But like she found her niche, you know? And
did she knock out the blonde girl?
No, she's brunette. She's, strong. She's got tats.
She's jacked.
She's got like sleeves. I don't know if you ever met her. Like she used to come in. I've known her for a long time, but recently she would come in and train with Adeline Gray.
Okay.
And I coach him. So I got to like kind of reconnect with her a little bit.
Man. I'm a big fan of Power Slap. You're going to have to introduce me, ask if she can give me like a little autograph or something, you know?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to introduce you. So
give me a little slap.
So then I get to watching these views, and it may be just because like I know her personally. And then in a second, we'll talk about the Paige Van Zandt effect. So we'll put it together. So I know Jackie. So I was already kind of interested in it. And then the Paige Van Zandt effect, right? It's like, I was asking somebody, why do you think she's doing it? To stay relevant? Is it to stay relevant, or is she a competitor, you know? They didn't offer her $5,000.
No, I bet she's probably making at least $100,000, right? At least.
Nah, that's kind of crazy, but maybe.
Oh, at least, bro. At least.
Or maybe it's a 3-fight deal or something like that.
$100,000 to show each match, guaranteed.
Really?
Probably more. Oh, I would bet more. Oh, I would bet more. And then on top of that, after she does Power Slap, she's gonna make $200,000 on her OnlyFans.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say next. You stay relevant so that, even though she's always still kind of relevant, no matter what, when you compete, you're that much more relevant for a couple days. Just in those couple days, her sales have probably spiked tremendously, bro.
Even if she gets knocked out, her OnlyFans is going to bring in $200,000. And then I wonder what they allow you to do with sponsors. I don't know if you just have the Power Slap and you can't put your own sponsors.
Well, I think they're sponsored by Monster.
Monster's cutting Paige a check too, $50,000
for sure. And
bro,
then
she's gonna cash out. They
were all wearing their own shoes, so.
Yeah, she's gonna have something on her shoes.
But so back to that is like, so Paige does it, right? So then you get to like, I didn't like turn it on, but I went to go look at the videos, and then you get to start thinking about like, you're watching it, and then they might put her video connected to another person's video, and then you're watching like, wait, but how do you score it? And then you're like, okay, but if you flinch, what's considered a flinch? What's considered a club? The next thing you know, you're
watching every event. Yeah.
Next thing you know, I'm in the sport. Now I know what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and man, with like, I know we were talking earlier about TikTok and what people are getting paid for TikTok, but just with like TikTok alone, I mean, if you put Paige Van Zandt's match on TikTok, I mean, you get 20 million views. I mean, that's $20,000, bro, just on TikTok. Just on TikTok. Yeah. That's why I'm saying I think she's making it. She has to be making six figures.
And she probably is so like solidified in this that she has an agent saying, okay, we're not just making show money, we're making view money too.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean? Like you have to show us your views, and then we get a percentage of the money you make off the views.
Yeah, it's possible.
Maybe? Or am I tripping?
No, that would be a smart move too.
It would be a smart move, but I'm just not sure if they're doing it, but it would be a smart move.
Yeah, the only thing I've ever seen is just like some of the highlights that you see on like social media and stuff. But like I mean, I was not giving it like the time of day. I did see it in person at the Arnold Classic one year. I don't even remember who was there. I want to say it was one of the Paul brothers was there like as like a MC for the whole thing. But like it was just like fun to watch, and you know somebody gives like a weak slap and everybody boos and shit. Like so that was pretty funny. But like I have no clue like where you even watch it. Like I don't know like what, you know what I mean. Like
I think it's ESPN.
Cards and, you know,
Rumble, bro. It's on Rumble. It's on Rumble.
Okay, Rumble, dude. Yeah, see that's the thing. Like I don't know anything about it, so I can't really speak too much on it other than like I'm going to say freak show, but I don't really mean it that way. But like, you know, the stuff that gets like highlighted on social media, it's like, what is this? You know, but it's meant to do that. It's meant to elicit that kind of reaction. And that's what I've given it. But I've never given it like a serious thought of like, oh, let's sit down and watch like this card. Let's learn some of the rules. So that's really interesting. I don't know if I have enough bandwidth to add another thing in right now, but it's cool that, I mean, if people are making money and Dana White's behind it, right? Like, yeah, dude,
and I'm sure there's bonuses, right? I mean, they're throwing money, bro. They're throwing money.
So,
the one thing that Dana White will do, and I can attest to this, is throw money behind the scenes. Like, and it's not necessarily under the table money. It's just like you're not signing a contract for it, but you'll wake up the next day with a deposit in your account.
Hey, so like I was thinking about this is like Power Slap is like equivalent to like a girl like doing porn. You know, like you're like selling your body.
Bro, what?
You're like selling your body, bro.
That's a crazy take, bro.
You're selling your body for views and for money. Like you're gonna stand there and just like let someone hit you for views and money and shit like that.
No.
Hey, how about this? What would you rather do? Power slap or bare knuckle boxing for the same amount of money?
Me personally, bare knuckle.
No, I'm definitely gonna do a power slap. I don't know.
But at least in bare knuckle, you have a chance of not getting hit. But in power slap, like you're kind of fucked. You're gonna.
That's true.
Because I think about the one. Did you see the one video where the dude's face was like super big? His face was broken. His cheeks
but that was because they did
like touching his face like
No, but they did a like only knockout only, right? Knockout only, unlimited rounds, and they went for like 30 rounds.
Yeah,
power slap has only 3 rounds.
Yeah.
How did they decide who goes first?
Flip a coin. I thought about signing up, and then if I lose the coin flip, just quitting.
Fuck yeah.
Because imagine if you win the coin flip, and then you can just go for a slap and knock the guy out, or if you don't knock the guy out, you just quit again. So you never have to get slapped.
That's all right, bro.
I also thought about I thought about trying to sign up to Power Slap, but I bring Renee with me, and I'm like, okay, you slap him, and then I get to slap you.
A stand-in.
Don't do my boy Henry like that, bro.
Okay, but how about this? The bare knuckle fight is against Mike Perry.
I mean, me personally, that's my style.
You'd rather bare knuckle fight Mike Perry or power slap Mike Perry for 3 rounds?
I'd power slap him.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna say anything crazy. People are gonna come for my head, but
you're trying to set up a bare knuckle boxing fight against Mike Perry.
Something that is maybe in the works for me is the most realistic thing I've gotten lately about fighting is the Game Bread FC, the bare knuckle
MMA.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So we're waiting till Jorge and Nate fight. It's this weekend actually, and then the matchmaker said that they're gonna start putting a card together, and I'd be on the list. So.
Oh, sweet.
My only thing with that is, I know it sounds crazy. It's like, if you start doing bare knuckle stuff, you got to think that your career is getting to be coming in, but it's like, it's where I'm at. But I also think that style favors me a lot. Like being able to stand and bang. And then as opposed to it being boxing,
No,
if
you
shit
can
does
wrestle.
go sideways, I can grab you too.
Yeah. Not if
With
shit
bare
goes sideways,
hands. I can
bro.
wrestle you with bare hands.
Not if shit goes sideways. That's gonna be our plan A. That's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
gonna be our plan B
It
is to
doesn't go
wrestle.
sideways.
Yeah, we're gonna take the guy down and head and arm choke him in the first round and not take any damage.
I don't know, bro. I kind of want to hit him.
You can hit him once on the way into the takedown. It's
Hit
gonna
him.
be
Yeah.
So when do you think that's gonna be?
They said like maybe like September. So
yeah,
the
that would
only
be
reason
sweet.
I would be considering it is like one, like I don't know about because PFL doesn't have a middleweight division, and
Oh, that sucks because that PFL tournament would be sweet, bro.
it would be perfect for me. That's actually
What do they
something
have?
that Hunter told me whenever they released me. He's like, you know, you're a guy that could go to PFL and win $1 million. It's like, all right, man.
Right.
Can you just stop? Can you just get off the phone now?
So yeah, well, so what you're trying to say is I'm fired.
Yeah. So, you know, yeah. So
So what do they have?
I was at a
170?
fight. I was cornering one of my buddies, Jake Woodley, who trains down here, and
Woodbow?
we were at a Lights Out card in Long Beach, and I was talking to a coach. I forget his name. He coaches at it's a gym called the Den. He's Curtis Millender's coach, and he was we were just kind of talking. He's like, you know, what's up with you, man? Like, what are you gonna fight or whatever? I was just kind of makes sense, man. Da da da. And he's like, you know, and he kind of gave me the idea about it, and he was like, he asked me how much I was making in the UFC. And I told him, and he was like, "Oh, you'll make that or maybe more." So
in bare
they got
knuckle
money.
MMA.
What?
In bare knuckle MMA.
Yeah. The game bread.
Yeah.
Game bread's got money.
Yeah, no, I've heard some of the numbers from some of the bare knuckle.
Yeah.
Bare knuckle
And if
boxing.
you look at like the last card, bro, say there's 14 fighters, 11 of them are UFC vets.
Yeah.
So they got to be paying dudes.
So yeah,
And
let's
dudes
get in.
who have already fought for money are not going to fight for pennies to fight bare knuckle.
Yeah. So let's
Unless
get in
you're really
some.
doing bad.
Let's get in 1 or 2 jiu-jitsu tournaments in the next few months. Maybe that jump into the ADCC Open, which is going to be like the day before the ADCC Worlds. Let's get in some grappling. That way, I mean, your wrestling's always going to be good, obviously, but we'll just get your jiu-jitsu on point. You could throw a couple punches, use your wrestling. Once you get the guy to the ground, your jiu-jitsu is going to be sharp because you've already been jumping in a few grappling tournaments.
I know, bro. I tell you, what's
Boom,
crazy
head and
is,
arm choke.
as good
Got
as
the guy out.
grappling partners I've had in my career, with obviously starting with you, like the biggest thing I regret about my MMA game is not having more submission threats.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Which is crazy. Because it's crazy. It's like you can vouch for me, and I know you're going to try to be a douche because we're on live, but like you can vouch for me that my jiu-jitsu's solid.
Yeah.
But like nobody knows that because I have never like put it in display in a fight.
Yeah, I would have just loved if in between fights you would have just focused a little bit more on your grappling and done like a jiu-jitsu tournament.
Yeah.
Just like if you just focus on it for 2 weeks, like you just train jiu-jitsu every day for 2 weeks and then jump in a grappling tournament, like those little like short like 2-week camps would have just like progressed you so much. But we can still do
like
that.
It's even when you talk about like controlling somebody on like in MMA, if you're like if you can get to a good control position and then throw up a submission on them, it helps your control, right? Like it's like I'm not just holding you.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have to worry about me being submitted too. And as opposed to you getting up, trying to get up, you're worried about fighting the submission and worried about getting up and being smothered. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then also like, let's say like you're really good off your back. Like, let's say that you have like a good bottom half guard, you have a good bottom close guard. In that case, you're going to be able to reverse engineer all the techniques when you're on top. So it's only going to help your passing and your top control if you're good on bottom too. So
yeah,
that's why like I think that it's important to not just be so.
I mean, I obviously don't do play bottom, but I generally just try to get to an underhook or a single leg, you know?
Yeah, but even then, at least you have something to do on bottom.
But
or like if you get dropped,
to be best anywhere you can be.
Yeah, and
I like
I remember
reverse engineering. I'm going to use that because when I coach my kids, I tell them like put them in a position. I'm like, think about how you feel when you're underneath.
Yeah.
So then, whenever when you're the offensive guy, think about how they feel underneath you. Mainly
don't let them get the grip.
Tell them like, think about how you feel when you're underneath somebody. Make them feel like that. You know.
For sure. Just reverse engineering. And I remember I rewatched one of Khabib's early fights in the UFC, and oh my God, his bottom game was so good. His jiu-jitsu on bottom was good.
Yeah.
He hit some like crazy shit from close guard to the back. Like he hit a crazy back take. And I think that that's one thing that sets him and Islam apart, is that they are like really high level wrestlers, but they also like they really, really dove deep into jiu-jitsu too. Like Khabib finished Justin Gaethje with like a triangle armbar.
Oh, for sure.
It's not just like a wrestling move. Yeah. To have like a solid triangle like that, like you have to be at a really high level of jiu-jitsu.
Bro,
as well, so.
At the end of the day, I've said this for a while, Khabib has really, really good control. The best control we've ever seen and that I've ever felt. But Islam has better submission games. I'm telling you right now. I've felt it for years.
Yeah, and that Darce was nasty.
There's been times he submitted me 3 times in one round, bro. Like, not situational. Like, starting from our knees or starting from him on bottom. Like, to where I'm, like, actively trying to not get submitted, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's incredible. He's the strongest pound-for-pound human I've ever felt.
I'm bummed out that I never got a chance to roll with him, because I know
I would have loved to watch that.
Yuri trained with him a lot, and Yuri told me that he's one of the best guys he's ever, if not the best, that he's ever grappled with.
Dude, he told me he's never been submitted.
Islam?
Yeah.
Has never been submitted? Like not even in
training. He said he's never tapped.
I mean,
that sounds crazy, but
I mean, so the bad thing about that is like imagine if I did go in there to train and I had a submission locked in, like I'm not gonna like break anything, because then like
but
I mean all those Russians are just gonna.
He was more just saying
like
he's so good that he doesn't get submitted, or maybe it was gonna last like 5 years or something like that. But I remember at one point I was like, "You're lying, bro," and he was like, "No," and he like asked I don't know who he asked, maybe it was Abu Bakr or somebody, and they confirmed it.
Yeah, I mean, if he was training with a bunch of like high level jiu-jitsu guys that were like attacking his legs and shit all the time, like eventually he's going to get tapped. Or, I mean, one thing that I clearly remember from that whole group, because I did train with Abu Bakr and I trained with, I don't know exactly who, but I trained with a few of them. And
probably Sajid.
I'm not sure, but I clearly remember that they didn't want to tap. And it was almost to the point where like I would have them locked in submissions, and it was like either I'm gonna have to break something or they're just gonna like, because they would just like, let's say the arm is fully extended, they're just gonna like and like freaking try to Hulk out. And I'm like, I'm here. I remember the one day Khabib was watching me training with them, and I was like looking around, and I'm like, man, I'm not trying to be the guy that's like coming in and like hurting people.
Wow, so you're a pussy.
No, like I was finishing some submissions, but but at the same time,
they like that, dude. They like competition. They're so big on respecting people that
for sure
compete hard with them.
No, so like Khabib asked me to like show him something one time that he saw me doing, and I was like, "Oh shit, this is dope." But I was like, "Damn!" I was about to be like, "Hey, film this shit." Khabib's asking me a question.
For sure, bro.
No one got it on camera. I'm like,
Can
"Damn!"
Somebody get this on camera, bro.
That would go viral on TikTok for sure, right?
Yeah. That's
so,
sick,
but I do remember like a few of the guys being like really like, kind of like trying to Hulk out of submissions and kind of refusing to tap, and me not wanting to like injure anyone because I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
So I would hate to be put in that submission with Islam, because obviously like I'm not trying to like injure Islam, the fucking pound for pound #1 MMA fighter in the world.
For sure.
I don't want to injure him and then everyone hates me.
Yeah, for sure.
So then what do you do in that situation?
Yeah, dang, I wish I could have watched you and Islam grapple.
For sure.
Because it's similar. Like I always feel like I'm like kind of one step behind both of you guys. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and like on my best rounds, I won't get submitted, but it's like I'm fighting for my life the entire time, you know?
Yeah.
What would you guys say was like the, I guess, most like impossible thing to deal with those guys? You know, obviously they're wrestling, everything's on point, so it's like hard to say one thing, but like, you know, for me, like honestly, like if somebody scrambles 2 times in a row, I'm like, oh geez, this guy's the greatest grappler ever. But for you guys that have been there, you know, like what's the one thing that you can point to that like somebody who's never experienced grappling at that level can be like, oh dude, when he did this, it was like, holy shit, this is a different level than anything I've ever seen.
Yeah, me and Deron are going to have 2 completely different answers here. I know that you're going to have a different answer than me. For me, always the hardest part about training with any of those guys, but I would say a high-level MMA fighter in general, is that we're playing 2 different games, right? So when I'm grappling with someone and I'm playing jiu-jitsu, the game is I'm going to be attacking you on bottom while you're trying to pass my guard, right? Mm-hmm. And because of that, let's say that I get a close submission attempt, but I don't get the submission. Let's say I'm in close guard. I get an arm bar. I straighten the guy's arm, but then he escapes. And then the rest of the round, nothing else happens. In that scenario, I would have won the match, because in a jiu-jitsu match, if no one scores points, it would go to like a decision. And then if you had a submission attempt, you're going to get the decision, because just staying on top means nothing in jiu-jitsu, right? Yeah. But if we put the same situation in an MMA fight where one person was on top, that's considered like a dominant position. And then even if I had a close submission attempt, if he was on top the whole round, we're assuming that when we throw in punches, he's going to be scoring the whole time. So in that case, he would have won the match. So what I find happens a lot with me is I'll end up, playing guard with someone, and then they just make 0 attempts to pass it all, and they just try to stay in the top position. And then in their mind, they won the match. And in my mind, I won the match. So it ends up kind of like being not good training, because usually there's like a clear consensus that like one of us is winning and one's losing. And that's going to make the other person push the pace to try to win the round. But if both of us think that we're winning the round, we're both going to just be content with not progressing. And then it's just going to kind of, stall out. Mm-hmm. So that's been my experience.
Yeah, wow, man. That's not what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
But that's like that kind of attests to your level of I guess I wouldn't say like your level of competition, your pedigree. Like not everybody's thinking that way. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not getting that answer from even a really good brown belt. You know what I mean? Like that's a black belt. That's world-class thinking right there, Not to jock you too much, but I guess they say glaze. I guess they say glaze these days.
Come glaze me.
Not to glaze you. But for me, it was every time I knew that these dudes were in the gym, I just better be ready for a rumble. And by rumble, I mean like intense tenacity, 5 minutes, whatever we're doing. If it's sparring or grappling or wrestling, it's going to be hard. And especially when Khabib was around. They trained hard when Khabib wasn't around, but they trained harder when Khabib was around. And when Khabib's around, it's no games, no plan, no... They're looking out of the corner of their eye to see if Khabib's watching them or not. You know what I'm saying? And they're going balls to the wall for 5 minutes. Like, you better be ready to go. Of course, they're all very talented in everything. That's the difference between them dudes. Is like, and I used to have that talk with Islam. Like, he'd be like, brother, like, you just started doing MMA. I'd be like 5 years in, And he's like, I've been doing this for 15 years. So they're masters at so many things. And so it doesn't matter what it was. They were going to come hard at you. No, did he?
Pause.
So, yeah, I mean, basically that's it. You just better be ready for the tenacity and intensity of a dude who's trying to beat you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Competitors, bro.
Yeah. And then so like what Mason, like what you're saying, right? And I've made this mistake several times where like I'm getting ready for a comp and I'm rolling with the dude. So like in my head, I'm thinking get on top, stay on top, get a pass, get points, maintain position and that sort of thing. Meanwhile, the guy on the bottom is like, all right, we're, it's Monday morning. I'm here to fight. Let me try to submit this dude. I'm okay with him passing my guard if I'm going to set up something else or try to lock up his leg. So I'll let him get on top and that sort of thing. So for me, I make that mistake all the time where I don't like acknowledge and tell the guy like, hey, like, don't let me score points on you or whatever it may be. So that's pretty crazy to hear that, like, you know, even at your level, that there's still some of that, like the basic things of like just acknowledging and letting the other person know, hey, this is the goal. This is the intention for this role. Like, we need to like clarify everything before that bell rings and we slap hands.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like there's nothing to clarify because Mason's not trying to win an MMA fight, and that guy's not trying to win a jiu-jitsu fight. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, like there's nothing to clarify. He's like, no, well, this is how I'm going to win, and that's how you're going to win. There's no reason for us to even, you know, unless, of course, an MMA guy would bring a specialist in that because he's going to fight somebody who's a specialist. He's like, hey, I need an MMA look.
Yeah, but even in that case, the way that we should be training is exactly how the MMA guy is training. He should be trying to stay on top while the bottom guy's constantly attacking him. And I mean, you do have to factor in the punches as well. So like, it's like, you should have gloves on. You should be throwing some strikes to the jiu-jitsu guy because that's what makes it. I mean, it's not jiu-jitsu, right? It is MMA.
Yeah, for sure.
And then would like if DC walked in, would he get the same kind of response? Like, would everybody all of a sudden start trying to turn everything up and trying to impress everybody?
Oh yeah, for sure, bro.
Yeah.
And DC will come in and bro and like ruin everybody's day, dog. At least he ruined my day, bro. He like try to take over the workout, like no matter what you're trying to do. But like, you know, like that, like DC's powerful, bro. Like if you want to talk about a dude, and I mean he'll be the same way, but just in different ways. If you want to talk about a dude who can walk into any room he goes into and control it, that's DC. And the easiest room for him to control is a training room. So I would say
it's a little different too because DC is like a heavyweight. Mm-hmm. So even though Khabib, anywhere he goes, is 7 feet tall, right? But like, it's different when the guy's like a legend, like one of the greatest of all time, and he's like a fucking big dude, like looking at you. It's just a little bit different, right?
For sure.
Like, God damn, this guy could just throw me through the wall right
DC
now.
will just go in there and he'll run a wrestling practice or something, or you know, back when he was still fighting, he'd come in and spar or whatever. I mean, he was in control, you know, like he was the guy that was in control. Like I remember even times like after Luke left, he would come back and train for a couple of days, and then like on, you know, worst case scenario for him, DC and Khabib would be in there. They'd be like on Luke's head, you know, because he's basically their little brother, right? From back in the day. And like, there's nothing he could say because they both were champions. They both did it. You know what I mean? They're like, Luke, you need to get up, bro. Like, you got to do this. You got to do this. You got to do this. But then it's like, you know, it's different whenever you got a guy like Luke Rockhold, who's a world champion. He's Luke, you know, and he goes to a gym like in Florida, and they don't know him as little Luke Rockhold.
They know him as he's a world champion.
Yes.
So he's getting a different level of respect. Yeah.
You know?
But sometimes it's not good to have that respect.
No. And then so he comes back to AK, and you got a guy like Luke Rockhold, who's the best in the world. And he's just a guy who's like talented at everything he does. And then you got DC and Khabib like on his head, bro. You know?
That's why I like going to Gilroy High School practice, because when it's DC or when it was you back in the day, no one like gives a fuck that I'm like a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Oh yeah.
They're like, bro, go get a partner and drill. And I have to do the whole practice with the kids. And it's just a different type of energy, man. And I love that energy. I actually hate when I walk into the room and everyone's like looking at me a certain type of way.
And it feels good. Don't act like it don't feel good.
No, it feels good. But at the end of the day, if I'm training for an event, I don't want to have that feeling. I want to be uncomfortable. I want to be out of my comfort zone because that's where I'm going to grow the most.
For sure. That's like when Kevin Holland came to train with us, and he would come to Gilroy. And like, Kev's my boy. Like, I fought my first 2 UFC fights. We fought on the same card, and we were like in the same locker room and shit, just coincidentally, you know? And then we became cool. He'd come and he'd train, come hang out at my house and shit. But he would come to Gilroy, and just because he's a big fighter, like some of these dudes were like kind of scared of him. I'm like, he can't wrestle, bro. That's why he's here, and we're wrestling. So then once I convince my kids that we're just wrestling, then they start going at him. They start getting after him. Then they start finding success, and it's like, bro, don't.
Oh, Cody was on his ass. Cody was on his ass,
bro. Cody be on everybody's ass.
He'd be on my ass too, bro.
Oh, Cody be on your ass.
On me, bro.
I'm like, please, Mason, choke him. But at least you're not like Luke, bro. If you start out wrestling Luke, he gonna try to choke you, bro.
Oh, yeah.
He will try to guillotine you, dog. Do you guys watch anything about the presidential debate?
Just the memes.
Yeah, I only watch the videos. I will tell you this.
I watched the whole debate, start to finish.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm a patriot, bro.
All right, man. I will tell you this. That I've never voted. I guess I've never been in a spot where I feel like it was because it's like I feel like I'm trying to vote for the lesser evil, in that whenever Donald Trump got out of office, when Biden got elected, for some weird reason, I thought it was like a relief. I was like, finally, this dude's out. But then over the last 3-4 years, I'm like, let's get this dude back in here.
Yeah.
No way. I mean, this dude, Joe Biden, I mean, he can't even be. I mean, dude can't even work at Walmart, bro. He can't even be the dude checking the receipts at Walmart, bro. That's how out of it he is.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah. But now the problem is that after the debate, CNN, it was super hard on Biden, which they never are. They're always just like, oh no, he looked great, like just delusional, right? But they were actually being honest this time, and like everyone in the Democratic Party was all of a sudden, Joe Biden. They seemed like concerned for Joe Biden, and so now like the conspiracy is that,
like, bro, where you been?
Yeah, like what? This has been going on for 4 years. Now all of a sudden you guys want to be critical of Biden? You guys have never been critical of Biden once, right? They've never talked about like inflation or
bro, in the way the prices are right now, this is not okay, bro.
Yeah, exactly. And they haven't been talking about that. All everyone's been saying is, man, Biden's doing a great job. Biden's doing a great job. Just delusional, right? So now the problem is, why are they being honest all of a sudden, right? And people are speculating that they're going to take Biden out and throw someone in kind of last minute, like Gavin Newsom, who's like completely destroyed California,
which is crazy.
But a lot of people will vote for him because he's like young, clean cut, well spoken, and they hate Trump, right? A lot of people are going to vote for Trump just because Biden's so incompetent. But if they put someone that they think is competent, that's young and well spoken, he might steal some of the votes. So I'm just hoping that they don't throw in Newsom and then our whole country becomes like California.
In Huntington Beach, go ahead.
I was going to say, it does seem very convenient because they didn't have to take this debate this early in all of this. So it got bumped up just so that way there's enough time to like bring in that substitution. I did see some stuff about Michelle Obama. I did see stuff about Gavin. Dude, like, I've always been the person that's like, it doesn't matter too much to me who is quote unquote running this country, because I'm still going to be right here with you guys. I'm still going to work my ass off for everything that I want and need, especially for my family. But with Newsom, some of the stuff that he pulled here in California, it was just like, how is this like really this guy? Like, you're going to give him more power? And then on top of that, but what you guys are saying is, I know Democrats, and you know when Newsom was like up for like they basically tried to get rid of him, and so like, we all had a chance to vote. There was people that were just saying, I'm gonna vote for him regardless because he's Democrat, and I don't want to vote for anybody else. Period. So when it comes to the presidential election, that's still gonna happen regardless.
Exactly.
Of who it is, even if it is still Biden. But I do think they left him out there to dry because, right away, everybody was like, oh, there's conversations about potentially having somebody else up there. And it's just like, whoa, like I felt like I was duped because, you know, as the debate was going on, I was on X, like kind of, you know, watching all the stuff like Trump saying like, I don't understand what he said at the end of that sentence. And I don't think he does either. And I was like, you know, having a giggle at it. But then I'm like, after everything, I was like, oh shit, we all fell for it. You know, like the little flea flicker that we all missed, and now the guy's like downfield wide open. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So not that I could do anything about it, but I do feel like, oh shoot, this was actually part of the plan the whole time.
Yeah, I think so too.
But the crazy thing about Gavin Newsom is, remember like a year or two ago when they were trying to vote him out?
They recalled him. Yeah.
I've never met a person in California. I swear to you, I've never met a person in California that says, I love Gavin Newsom. Never. But when they try to vote him out, it was like an overwhelming amount of votes to keep him in.
Exactly.
What's that?
Yeah. That's why I get so frustrated about voting, period, because you could have the same conversation with like everybody in this state and be like, yeah, we all voted for Trump. And then at the end of it all, like the electoral vote and all that stuff, it's like, well, we're still a blue state, so we're still going to, vote Democratic regardless of what, everybody else thinks. So it gets frustrated, but I used to think that like my one vote didn't matter, but now like I've definitely like, I'm not going to not utilize that vote. It's just, and then complain about it, right? Like I'm going to use that and then probably still have to complain about it later. But yeah, dude, there's still, I know people that still voted for Gavin to come back in regardless. I'm like, dude, do you not see like the shit that we're in right now? Like California is great, dude. Don't get me wrong, dude. I love the weather here. I love
the weather's great.
I love that I don't have to like worry about like bugs flying at me and shit like they do in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. But also I can't drive 15 minutes from here without seeing a shit ton of bums. And then there's also like these weird rules and regulations, and then the shit with the schools and all that stuff. Like it's getting weird to the point where I can't ignore it anymore. Like I said a second ago about like, I'm going to do me. I'm still going to do everything I need to do. But when someone like that is starting to like use their power a little bit further to like infringe on my shit, I'm just like, okay, hold on. Now I'm forced to like pay attention to what's going on. Just like what happened, over the pandemic, we all kind of were like, oh, wait a second. They're kind of overstepping their boundaries here. Now I'm forced to pay attention to what everybody's doing.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, we can only hope that it's not going to be Newsom. The last thing we need is their family to have any more power. It's Pelosi's like nephew, right?
Shit. Dude. Yeah, and then there was like shit about him, cheating on his wife with his like somebody in his like circles, like wife or some shit like that. Like, he's just not a good dude.
No,
like,
he's a scumbag.
Yeah.
Hey, if you guys want to laugh, you guys have to watch Adam Carolla. Adam Carolla just like is on his ass, bro. Just like interviews him. Oh my God, go watch it after we wrap this up. It's hilarious.
I'm gonna go check it out, bro.
He's like, but why did you close the beach, Gavin? And Gavin's like, we were working with the information that we had at the time. And we did it. He's like, we didn't know. He's like, you didn't know. You didn't know that you couldn't close the beach with the information that you had. Why did you close the beach? He's like on his ass. It's so good.
Yeah, and then the shit with like his winery staying open, but he shut everyone else's down and that sort of stuff. Like,
he's just a scumbag.
Dirtbag. Yeah.
All politicians are dirtbags.
Except our golden boy, Trump. He's not a dirtbag.
Hey, Huntington Beach, California is voting for Trump, bro. I'm telling you that much right now.
He is a dirtbag, but it's like he's our dirtbag.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up. This has been the DMs, the Deron and Mason show featuring Andrew. The DMs featuring Andrew. That's going to be our name. It's been episode 2, and we are out of here. Thanks for joining us. If you made it this far, you're probably degenerate just like us.